Welcome back, and thanks for joining us here on America's Retirement Headquarters, the home of the Retirement Guys formula and America's Medicare Associates with Nolan Baker and Dave Ross. 419-794-3030. That's the phone number if you have questions about your retirement. 419-794-3030. Let the guys have that conversation with you. You can also go to the website, arhq.com, even if you just need a little bit of advice. And I actually just read this on an advice column in Market Watch. A woman who's almost 50, their $2 million nest egg with the financial advisor to manage. She's worried that the fees and bad decisions could undo what they've spent their years doing and destroy their retirement. If she came into your office and was sitting down and speaking with you, Nolan, Dave, what would you tell her?
Well, I think the downside of going through retirement without an advisor can be somewhat challenging. I know we oftentimes will get together with people who, typically do it themselves. And the nice thing about working with a retirement advisor is not all advisors work the same. So I'd really be curious about her comments regarding fees and bad decisions and ask her, why, is that causing you kind of headache? She probably had some type of bad experience in the past, I would assume. And, when I think about finding the right advisor, it's almost like, dating. You got to keep looking to find, what's best for your own individual situation. Just like there's, good and bad advisors, there's good and bad stocks, there's good and bad investments that are out there. The advantage, I think, of somebody having an advisor in retirement time is they can take a look from the outside in. I know when we go through the retirement team action plan, we look at a lot of different areas of people's finances and start to bring up things that they didn't think about. A perfect example of that is even if you've paid off your mortgage, your banks, your credit cards, all of your loans, and you think you don't owe anybody anything, your retirement account is actually probably your biggest debt in retirement time. And the reason being is that the federal government says that they have an IOU against that account. And when you take money out of a traditional retirement account, they're going to tax you at whatever the income rates are. Well, as we know, the future tax rates could be significantly higher than they are today. So one of the things in the retirement team action plan that we take a look at is trying to reduce and eliminate strategies on getting tax rates to go as low as possible. And that could be things like a strategic and or tactical Roth conversion as just one of the examples on our tax savers checklist, which we go through 25 different things. As far as bad decisions and what she was also concerned about, I think the question there is making sure that you fully understand, the ins and outs of any make. So again, some type of experience had led her into that situation. In terms of today, you have a difference between, what is a salesman and what is a fiduciary. And a fiduciary is someone who's, required to act in your best interest. I would say that I think even some, commission-based salespeople probably do a great job and, at the end of the day are probably wanting to do what's in the best interest of their client. But, making sure that you're asking the candidates about their background, how are they coming to develop what their recommendations are? What are the steps that they're going through, understanding how they're going to get compensated in the situation. I oftentimes find even in a lot of the relationships that we have, whether it's a do-it-yourselfer or somebody who just wants a second opinion, sometimes just hiring us in a consulting capacity can be just another guy that you can bounce ideas off of and say, hey, I'm thinking about XYZ. What do you think about that? Here's what my 401k investment options are. If you were giving us advice on maybe how to allocate that, how would that be? Obviously, as a retirement advisor, I'm certainly biased in the fact that I think it's a great idea for those of you who've built and saved up your life savings to have a coach, to have an advisor that help get you through the tough times and helps you optimize your overall portfolio using, in my example, 30 years of experience of developing plans, helping hundreds of families transition through retirement time. And when you look at it, I'd say the same thing. What are you talking to people about as far as sitting down, the value of working with you, Dave?
Well, I would think, the one thing that really was an eye-opener for me coming to work at America's Retirement Headquarters was that we don't have to necessarily have direct control over a client's retirement funds to be able to provide solid advice. And that's where I think this consulting relationship becomes very valuable, because sometimes you will come across a person who will say, gee, my brother-in-law is my financial advisor. I can't fire my brother-in-law, but he doesn't necessarily do planning. So we can help in the development of a plan. We can certainly help anyone who wants to have a good handle on what their risk level is on their portfolio. We can stress test their portfolio and talk to them about the pitfalls that they might be facing. So from a standpoint of commission-based versus fiduciary, the fiduciary standard is very real. We have to work in the client's best interest. And Nolan's correct. There are a lot of very good commission-based advisors, but maybe bringing us in on a consulting basis is the perfect fit for a client to feel perfectly well at retirement time, knowing that their risk is appropriate, that their investments are appropriate, and that it fits into a tailor-made plan that meets their needs. I think that works out very well in a multitude of different situations.
Whether it is having, a full-blown comprehensive retirement plan put together, or, just having an advisor, a fiduciary in your corner acting in that consulting position, I think it can hopefully add a little bit more confidence as you enter into retirement. It's kind of like the equivalent of, knowing what you're capable of doing as far as DIY home repair. And then there's probably certain things that you know that touching it is going to be a costly and could be a very detrimental thing if you try to do it on your own. Same sort of thing when it comes to figuring out how to fund the next 20, 30 years of your life in retirement. That is where the team at America's Retirement Headquarters can come into play to help you out with that, offer you their insight, their advice, and educate you, help you make that informed decision. All it takes to get started is a phone call, 419-794-3030, or the website. You can go to arhq.com, find out more, and set up a time to speak with them there.